Hey guys, what's going on today? So now we're back. It's the following day. I was able to run out to the hobby shop and get the parts I need to finish getting our MAXX together. So as you guys can see over here, we have the front bulkhead laying here. The lower half bulkhead part number for this truck is 8920. That comes with the upper and the lower bulkhead. The upper is fine on this one, so we're just going to be using the lower half and keep the top for a spare. I also was missing, remember I was missing that one lower pin. It's this long pin right here I was missing, and they didn't have the actual the part number I gave them. I forgot what it was, but they were able to look up. I told them, well, the pin is a 4x64 millimeter. They were able to type that into their computer and cross-reference it, and it shows every baggie or every part number they have that pin is in, and it came up with this part number here, and I said I'll take it because I just need that one pin. And it lists on the back what pins are in there, and 4x64 happens to be in there, so I said I'll take it. So let's go ahead and get this thing together. So let's go ahead and open this bulkhead up, and the table is exactly the way it was, the way we left it last night. I didn't do anything else in here. After this, I'm going to be putting my UDR together. Got to do the rear diff in it and put a new Savox 2290 in my wife's X-MAXX. Okay, so we got our bulkheads out, or our two halves right here. And like I said, this half's fine. Now I have two of these spare. Here's the other that I didn't use on my other truck. So I'm just going to put these aside. I'll put those in my little MAXX tackle box. Alright, so now if you were going to do both upper and lower, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, and it's simple from here. Alright, so what you would do, you have this laying just like this. You would just lift your pinion out, and you would literally just lift your diff out just like that. And I mean, you just, of course, clean everything up, bring your new one over, set everything in, back how it goes, and go back together. Like I said, we're not going to use this. I'm just going to go back together with it just like it was, and it'll be just fine. It could be a little cleaner in there, but it'll be fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, there's no damage or anything to the gears. Everything will be alright. If it was really, really gritty and grimy in there, I would clean it up. I just spent a pretty good chunk of time cleaning up the differential and the housing on my UDR. It was bad. Alright, so let's put this together. I think that's pretty good there. Okay, so now we're going to just put this thing right back together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get the screws that I need to screw it back down. I know they were all the same size. So what I'm going to do here is just going to dump this cup out and grab the ones that I know I need. So it's these here, and what they are is 4x12. So I'll grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, looks like 11. Kind of an odd number. One may be missing. I may have one oddball in there that's a little bit longer, but that's good enough to get me going. These two here are 4x12. I'm just going to kind of set those up here out of the way because those I'll be needing next. So let's put this here where you guys can see everything. So then we're going to go ahead and put what I told you guys about yesterday. This piece here was kind of strange to me, being I had never been into it before. Let's go ahead and put this on. So we're going to set this here, and then this piece here, if you took this apart, you're going to take this here, and it doesn't matter which way this goes in. Put this back in, and just line your bolt holes up here, and that's where those two longer ones go. As a matter of fact, these here I set aside, the 4x12, they're going to go in here. So go ahead and run these through, get them started. Okay, I'm going to go do this. So those go back in just like that. Take care not to strip any of these screws, they go into plastic. Okay, that's good there. Now we're going to go ahead and put this bad boy on because it threw me for a loop on my other truck. So this goes on just like this. The open side of the hose faces toward you. You're doing it that way. So I'm going to put that there, grab me two screws, set them in place just like that there. And we'll screw these down. There we go. Then I'll just do them up by hand here. No power. Okay, now that is together. So I'm going to take these other screws here, just kind of scoot them out of the way. We'll bring our bulkhead back over here where you guys can see well. And I'm going to just take and put a little scoop of grease right on top of the carrier there. The reason it came apart, it had nothing to do with lubrication, had nothing to do with being dry. It just broke from impact. So we'll put just a little bit extra grease in here than what it had. There was no wear to the gears or anything like that. So we know we put just a little bit more in there, we'll be fine. Okay, we got that taken care of. Now I gotta get this pinion set in the right spot. It's not, the bearings aren't cradled in their little carriers. There. You see there, you turn it and the bearings don't move. That's what you're going for. And I'm going to smash that grease all over the place outside. Okay, now we're going to take and just set this right down on top. Just like that. Mash it together. And we'll start putting our screws in. Those 4. We're going to go diagonally with these to make sure it torques down as straight as possible. There we go. Then we're going to jump straight across to this one. And finally the bottom left. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pull my tool off of there, and I'm going to use the Traxxas driver here. Just a little lighter. I can tell exactly what I'm putting on them. Okay, good and tight, and then be sure rolls freely. Nice and smooth. Go ahead and work that grease around a little bit. Alright, now we can go ahead and start putting this back on the chassis. So I'm going to push this out of the way, move my X-Actos, so we don't have a bloody mess over here. We'll just scoot this back, and I'll get the truck up here. Okay, so let's start putting this thing together. So we're going to make sure this linkage stays up out of the way, and then we'll go ahead and flip our bulkhead over. It's nice and smooth, and we're just going to slide this back right in place. Let's see, is our drive shaft in there? Nope, we're going to need that drive shaft. Put your drive shaft back in if it fell out. Let's see. You'll just take and slide it right in. Just like that. Flip this back over. Set it down where you guys have a view. And then we're going to be sure that it engages into the drive shaft. And it did. And there we go. Now you're going to have some more of these 4x10s. Go ahead and put those 4 right there. Let's be sure that this doesn't bolt down. Yeah, okay, I was thinking X-Maxx. Wanted to be sure I didn't put these in and then have to take them back out. Okay, so we're going to put those 4 in place right there. And I think you guys can see pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and run this one in. We'll run straight across. And then this one here. I had to go to 2 different hobby shops today. I had to go to my local one, which is 30 miles down the road in Victoria, Texas. And they had everything I needed except for the servo arm for my wife's X-Maxx. So I had to run down to San Antonio, which is about 100 miles. Went over there and got what I needed. And now I'm here. Okay, so now we got those 4 on. Drive shaft is back in. You can do that and you can hear it, you know, turn in the drive line. So now we got that on, let's go ahead and start putting some of the front end back on this puppy. So we're going to go ahead and start getting our arms and everything back on there. This is this side, and we're going to take this side here, put it where it goes. And the way you can tell which side is which is just your screw here, where your outer tie rod goes. It needs to face back this here is facing forward. See there? It's not going to work. So you know that one goes there. You know that one goes there. So let's go ahead and start getting these lower arms back in place. Start getting this thing back together. So we're going to open this baggie up because I need that long pin. So open that up real quick. There we go. Get that long pin out of there, and it's just a hardened steel one is all it is. Put those other ones in my little part dish. Okay, now we're going to need these two parts here. A little bracket and this little keeper here. Now I'm standing completely on the right hand side of the truck. I don't know if you guys can see it in this camera. So I'm going to do my best to get this together just so that you guys have a good shot of the front. So what you do is you put your pin through there, through your arm and through that back retainer. Then you put this little plate over the pin, followed by this little plastic retainer here. So let's get that done. So on your drive shaft, on your axle shafts, do you see here and here, 12 o'clock? You see there's a scribe mark there and there's a scribe mark right there. There's also a scribe mark on, I'm in the light. You see that scribe mark there? All you do is line those up. If you don't line it up, it's not going to slide together easily. So you want to be sure they're lined up. So what I usually do is I'll put this one straight up and down at 12 o'clock. And then I'll put this one straight up and down at 12 o'clock, obviously. So let's do that. Alright, so I'm just going to ease this in there. And you'll know if it's right. It'll come apart just as easily, or it'll go together just as easily as it came apart. See how easy it slides on? If you're splined wrong, see, it won't go. You can force it on, but you don't want that. So just be sure it slides on easily, just like that. Okay, now that is going into place. So what we're going to do now is take our other pin, be sure they are the same length, they are, and I got a little bit of WD-40 here. I'm going to put a little bit of WD-40 on it, just because I can. And what I'm going to do is just put it over my parts dish and just give it a little shot. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick this arm up here, and we're going to slide this pin from the front into that back retainer. There it is. I believe it's all the way in. Normally what I'll take sometimes is a pair of pliers like this and give it a little twist and a little push to be sure. Yeah, that's all the way in, and you can tell because there'll be a little wear mark right here as it seats flush with the edge of the arm there. Okay, so we've got that one in place. This is the only part of the job really that's kind of sketchy because you can bump it and knock that arm right out of place when you're doing the other one. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil on the other one. And what I'll do when I'm done is just wipe that dish out, and that WD-40 will keep it nice and clean. Okay, try not to get in your way here. I'm going to slide this pin through. Go ahead and get it in place. I'm going to get my scribe marks at 12 o'clock. These are 12 o'clock. Slide it right together. Now I'm going to peek around the side here. Actually go behind this camera you guys are looking through. There, we got it in. Took some acrobatics, but we got her done. Okay, then you're going to take this plate. It doesn't matter how it goes on. I don't believe you can tell how it was on. It's got little squares there. That way you can tell it's facing this side. So, I mean, we'll go ahead and put it back on the same way. So, okay, so we'll put this on here. Just like that there. Be sure that goes all the way over. See how the little plastic deals come through the bracket, and that is when you know it's on right. And then you've got this here, and you see how it's got. See how the holes are open on the bottom. I didn't pay attention. I took it off. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna put it back on with the slots facing down, just so that if dirt and stuff falls up, gets pushed up in there, it's got a way to fall back out. And to me, it doesn't make sense for it to be upside down because it's just gonna hold stuff. So we're going to put that back on just like that there. And then that screw that goes there is a 4 by 10 millimeter, 2.5 hex. There it is. And I'll be doing a video whenever I get this arm in and replacing that arm. This truck took a beating. I had never broken that much stuff before in my life, but it happens. It's been beat on for a long time. Okay, so I'm going to turn this way just a little bit. And now we're going to go ahead and go back on with our, let's go ahead and put our steering components back on. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our steering components back on here. So we're going to grab our bell crank, steering assembly, the tie rods and all that good stuff on it. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we put these little screws back in so we didn't forget where they went. So we're going to go ahead and pull those out right now. We'll lay them down right here, right in front of the truck. We'll just lay them down. They're going right back in. And then we have this screw in here that we put in. We'll go ahead and take that out. It's a little shorter than the other two, so keep it separate. See here, you got one there, and then those right there. Alright. Alright, so then to put this back on, remember I talked about that they sit right on top of these two bearings. See those two cups? They literally just sit right on top. So we're going to take and just set it right back on top. Those bearings like that. Put each arm where it needs to go. So let's go ahead and put this screw back in first, because right now we can pick this up and kind of move it around. So these can sometimes be tricky to put in. There, okay, got that in there. What I'm going to take is my 2mm, put it through there. Be sure it's straight, lined up, see there. Now I take it out carefully and put my screw in there. There we go. I believe that's a 2mm. Start it with my hands, okay? And instead of changing tools, I'll just grab my Hypertough here. That's good enough. Don't need much in that little bitty screw. Now, so we're going to go ahead and put these on top of these bearings, just like that, and just like that. Now that's back where they belong. And then we're going to follow up by putting these back in place. So we're going to line up these little hollow balls, and these also can be kind of tricky to get back in. Okay, I got that in. I'm going to take my two. You don't have to do this, but I do. Just an automotive trick we used to do back in the day. Everybody still does it, but I don't, because I don't work on cars anymore. Okay, we got that back in there. Now we're going to just run that back in. And you can put this on after the shock towers. I did my other one that way. But when I was putting it on, I thought, yeah, I should have done that first. I don't have to work around the shock towers. Now we're going to do the left side. Okay, take that. I'm trying not to get in your way. Just line that hollow ball, get it straight. And what I normally do is hang it on the bottom and then spread it like that. There we go. Pull that out. Put that screw in there and run this baby on in there. Good enough. Okay, so now our steering is all back hooked up. And it's gonna fall into place until we get the brace on it. Okay, so now that's done. Now let's get our shock towers. Okay, let's grab our shock towers here. We put them right in front of us, and then we're gonna go ahead and set these right back into place. And I mean, if you'll see there's a screw hole right here. That's gonna be this screw hole. You just basically take it, set it right on there, and it all goes right back into place. Just like that there. Everything's back where it needs to go. So, okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put in these two screws. You got one here, and you got one right here. These are also the 4x10. These will be easier to drop in if I have them on my bed already. Here we go, that one is started. And that one is started. We'll take and run that in. Good and tight. And good and tight. Alright, our little cup of screws is starting to get a little on the empty side. And a lot of those are for the little front skid plate. Okay, so now let's go ahead, put in our top A-arms. Okay, you can see where the top A-arm pins go. They go right through here. And this bracket right here will move. There, see there? There we go. So now we're going to go ahead and grab our top pins, and they're actually threaded pins. Right there. And I'll put a little shot of W40 on also. Throw that in the trash. Alright. And we'll go ahead and lift this arm up, put it in place. Put that pin in there, just like that. That's a 2.5, so we'll take the 2.5 and run it on in. Tighten it by hand. We got oil on the other one already. Turn this where you can see it. Pick this arm up into place. There we go. Tighten that one up by hand. Alright, we're moving right along, guys. Okay, next to go in are going to be the shocks up into the upper shock or the upper shock mount right here in the shock towers on both sides. Those are the screws they take right there. They're long screws, and those are a 2mm head. So this is just like the MAXX if you've done one. This hollow ball right here actually just goes right into the groove. It'll go right in place, just like that. Take that. Let's chuck up my 2mm. Put it in here. It will find its home. There we go. Oh, not too tight. There we go. Okay, we'll do the same with the other side and peek around the other camera here. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that one. I'm going to change this up. There, now you guys can see what I was talking about. See this hollow ball? It'll just go right inside there like that. So you'll kind of get it straight. Pick that arm up into place. Put that in there like that. And we will snug it up, slow down, tight. So now that we're that far with it, let's go ahead, flip this over. And I'm just going to move this tire, we don't need that. Let it sit right there. And you guys already have a good view on that camera. Let's bring our skid plate over here. Long screws in the back, make sure they find their holes. And then what I'm going to do is be sure everything is started straight before I start tightening any of them. That one started. That's not right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay, these are all started, so now it's safe to go ahead and run them in. You don't want to get a couple of them tight and then one of them out of whack, and you got to back the other ones out to get yourself slack, you know, to move the part around. There we go. Just like that. Can you guys believe it is 70-something degrees down here in Texas in the late December? This is ridiculous. I hate hot, warm, humid weather. I can't believe it. I was thinking, oh, it's, well, for me, I mean, RC season's all the time, right? But I like to run them in the cool weather, you know? I was like, oh, RC season's coming. Yeah, it's time to play. No, Mother Nature changed her mind. Okay, so now we're going to put this skid plate on right here. And if you guys watched part 1 of this, I'm not sure if this is going to be a two-parter or not, so that's why I'm saying that. If you guys watched part 1 of this, you will know that the screws that came out of there were destroyed. Here's some of the screws that came out of there. Let's see if I can. So they're ground flat. So these are done. Throw those over there. Grab some new ones. And I have some tapered ones. Here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same exact screw, tapered head and everything. Okay, bring this back, right about there. So the skid plate, you got this little tab right here needs to lay down right in here, so this needs to scoop down underneath it. So just like that there. See how that went in? Just like that there. We'll lay it on there and we'll put our brand new screws in place. I really need to change the ones on the back too, because they are, looks like they're probably worse. It's always been my fear to have to work on your truck, and then these screws are so bad you can't get them out. And usually what I'll do is, you know, if the truck's, you know, I'm just doing a maintenance on it, like a PM, preventative maintenance on it, I'll look over all the screws and stuff on it and be sure that none of them are getting damaged, and if they are, I'll go ahead and pull them out and swap them. We'll run that in, run that in. That's tight. That's tight. That was good. There we go. Now we have 4 new screws in there. See there? Alright, let's get that bumper on. So then what we're saying, got these 2 screws in here ready. Those are fine, they can stay. Line them up with these 2 screws right here. You have to push this down a little bit because this tab has to slide inside here. So just push that down, slide that tab in, just like that. Then you have to peek at your screws to be sure they're lined up. There they are. And then we're going to go ahead and put this screw in right here, which is this medium size, pretty good long screw. It goes right here. Okay, I'm going to not tighten that one all the way just yet. Now we got 2 down here that we need to get to. These 2 right here now. Okay, that was tight. And that was tight. Now we'll finish this top one off here. Okay, there we go. So shocks are back hooked up, A-arms are good, bumper's good and tight again. Now we need to go ahead and get this brace back in. I'm going to turn it around, kind of like the way it was when we took it off. Okay guys, now just looking, before we put this brace on, and this brace goes on just like this, the way we took it off, and it's got a tab here in the front that it has to engage in that slot there. What you do is you put it in and you kind of just bow it in and it'll pop right in, kind of snap in like that. But I guess on impact it knocked both of the little bearings out of the top of the bell crank. See right down in here, you're supposed to have little tiny bearings in there like this. I have one that I found in a parts baggie, but I can't find the other. And that is supposed to sit down inside both of them just like that, flush. And then the brace here has 2 little dowels. See, here's one of them that go down and sit inside the bearing, and it keeps this from wobbling around. So I'm gonna have to get a couple more bearings because I need to have some on hand. So anyway, it looks like there's gonna be another part 3 to this video, but let me get this off of here. I don't want it to get lost. Put that in my magnetic dish. So let's go ahead and recap then. Honestly, the only thing we have to put on are those 2 bearings and then that chassis brace, and put the tires back on it, and we're done. So essentially now you know how to replace the front bulkhead. So while I'm kind of talking to you here a little bit, I'm just going to go ahead and put the tires and wheels back on, because I mean essentially it's going to take me 2 minutes to put that brace back on. But I will be sure that I do it on camera so you guys can see exactly how that goes on, just in case anybody's wondering. But for it being a bulkhead, it wasn't that bad of a job at all. I think that the first time it'll probably take you 45 minutes is my guess, somewhere around there, especially with my video helping you. Second time, it's gonna be a breeze. I bet that I could probably do one in 20 minutes if I wanted to. Heck, I don't know, it might be faster than that. Maybe y'all can let me know how fast you guys have done one down in the comments. Like I said, if there's something that I did you guys didn't agree with, or you think it could have been a different, done a different way, feel free to comment down below. And if you've never done one before and you watched my video and it really helped you a lot, also let me know. Be sure you like my video, comment, Subscribe to my channel. What subscribing does, if you guys aren't really real savvy with YouTube, when you subscribe, you click the little bell up there, and every time I upload a new video, your phone will let you know. You'll get a little ding, and you'll see the banner across top of the screen, just like when somebody messages you and your phone's locked. It'll tell you, you know, South Texas Branch, your STB-RC has uploaded a new video, and you can literally just click on it, and it'll take you straight to it. If you're not interested in it, you don't want to watch it, you just swipe it up off the screen, and you'll never know about it again. So subscribing is pretty cool because it'll let you know that, you know, I've uploaded a new video. So yeah, guys. Okay, that's it. So yeah, guys, so if you want to subscribe, please, you know, by all means, do it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys watching. We've got the tires and everything all back on it. It's all together. It's back ready to go. As soon as I get those bearings in for the bulkhead, I'll be back on here and we will slap it together and then we'll be done. Thanks, guys. Next video I'm going to do tonight is going to be assembling the rear differential on my UDR. If you want to check that video out, the link is down in the description. Bye.